Hello and welcome to this evening's reflections. My name is Anne. I've titled today, When Are We Going to Get There? Waiting in times of change and uncertainty is never easy. Being frustrated, getting impatient, finding ourselves more easily irritable and annoyed at little things can be understandable and quite normal in those circumstances. The familiar saying, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the sun, may be true, but in times of restrictions and uncertainty, it's not always the wise words we want to hear. That saying and other words like it can be found in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, where it also says there is a time to be born and a time to die, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. The list goes on. At the moment, we're certainly in a time to refrain from embracing. And I'm one of these people who likes to embrace and give people a hug, so I'm finding that a little bit hard. Perhaps we could also add a line, there is a time for certainty and a time for uncertainty. When my children were young and we had to go on a long car trip, to go on holiday or visit grandparents, for example, there was always a lot of excitement as we packed the car and lots of chatter and laughter as we started the trip, but it didn't take long for that initial excitement to wear off and the boredom to set in. Now, we took lots of activities for them to do, things like audio books. They could listen to stories like James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. They could listen to some of their favourite music, which at that time were the Wiggles and Peter Coon. They could play games like I Spy with My Little Eye. We didn't have electronic tablets on which to load DVDs and computer games. They didn't have that, but I'm sure that even if they had, it wouldn't have kept their attention for the entire trip. Certainly nothing else did. And it wouldn't be long before we'd hear, "Are we there yet? When are we going to get there?" And the wriggling and the bickering would start. And you'd hear Mum or Dad saying things like, "Andrew, would you stop kicking your sister?" Or, "Georgina, would you stop thumping your brother?" And, "Would you kids stop making a racket?" A little rest stop, a bit of food and a drink and some playtime certainly helped as we were on the trip, but we got back in the car and it wouldn't be that long before, once again, that little whine, "Are we there yet? When are we going to get there?" And if it still was a while to go, the collective moan in the back seat would be quite audible. And then at some point it would be, well, it isn't very long now. And if you keep an eye out, you'll see some particular familiar landmark and the kids would see it and they'd know they were close. And when we finally arrived, oh, what relief and joy for everyone. In this time of COVID restrictions and the uncertainties and changes that have come with it, I can't help thinking that some of that impatience and are we there yet? When are things going to go back to normal? Can so easily creep into our waiting time. Suddenly, some of us are confined so that we only can be inside our house or inside a hotel room. And if we can go outside, it's very limited what we can do and where we can go. For some, they can't go to work. Others can work from home. And for those who can go to work, they have to go directly there and then directly home again. And when is it going to end? In weeks? In months? We just don't know. Our leaders remind us of what we can't do, and they acknowledge that it's hard. They're also encouraging us to remember that this isn't how it's going to stay. Things will change. Things will improve. We just have to live through it until then. And it's not easy to be a leader or a decision maker at this time. One of the ways to support them is with prayer. Our Premier, who has readily acknowledged he's not a churchgoer, has openly asked for Christians to pray for him. That is one of the ways that we can support as they and others like him make the tough decisions and feel that really heavy weight of responsibility. When you know people, a friend, a family member or a neighbour who's struggling because of what's happened, can I encourage you to find out if there's anything you can do to help them, to support them? And it may require a little bit of imagination to do things a bit differently from how you might ordinarily have done things to support them. But I'm sure that when you do, they'll really appreciate your care. And when your own four walls crowd you in and get on top of you, can I encourage you to pray and trust God with your own situation? Ask him for wisdom, strength and perseverance so that you can get through this uncertain and difficult period. God is there for you and he wants to help you. I am going to finish now with another word from Ecclesiastes chapter 3. God has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom God, what he's done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for men than to be happy and do good while they are alive, that everyone may eat and drink and find satisfaction from their toil. This is the gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it, and nothing taken away from it. God does it so that men will revere him. Whatever is has already been, and what will be has been before. And God will call the past to account. So as I leave you this evening, my hope and my prayer is that you will have the strength and find the patience with God's help to get through the next days and weeks, possibly months, as we wait for this time to end. I'll see you tomorrow.